In the headlines, the PSU says plans for court action against Public Works will go ahead even if the corporation has agreed to honor employees' request for redundancy. The Minister of National Security holds news conference to address public safety and other concerns. And the broadcast media warned they could face penalties in the new year for playing music without a license. Season's greetings, I am Lorian Graham Carter with the Channel 5 News. Details coming up. First up, the board of the Public Works Corporation has agreed to pay $500,000 in redundancy payments to staff who have applied for redundancy.
Chairman of the corporation's board, Titus Francis, says management formally acknowledged employees' claim for redundancy 2 months ago. The Protection of Employment Act states that where an employee has been laid off for 6 or more consecutive weeks, the employee may elect to make a claim in writing to the employer for a redundancy benefit pursuant to this act, and this is the case. Francis says management will honor redundant employees' request.
It's gone beyond consideration, and what we're doing now is we are negotiating funds to meet the obligation which we have in these circumstances. It is something, we could call it a work in progress, but we are working at it feverishly with the view to settling it as soon as possible. But with the restructuring that is going on in the corporation at this point in time, it would not be to our advantage financially or otherwise to recall those employees.
The PwC board is currently restructuring and has been facing financial challenges. Francis says he is optimistic about getting the funds to pay off the employees.
And the amount of money involved is a tidy sum of money for a corporation that doesn't have money. We're looking at anything in the region of about $500,000 settlement redundancy. And that would include actual redundancy and outstanding benefits in terms of vacation, allowances, and this kind of thing. There is a light at the end of the tunnel, and in the process, we should and we will be able to come through with making payments to the employees.
Do you have a time frame by which you will start issuing payments?
No, we don't at this point in time, no. We can't make that commitment now.
Meantime, head of the trade union representing PwC Staff Public Works Corporation says it is still going ahead with plans to take legal action against PwC management.
The Public Service Union had threatened legal action against PwC management over the settlement of redundancy payments. 20 PwC employees expected to return to work on August 12 after being laid off in July. They instead received notices that the layoff period had been extended and they have not been rehired since. General Secretary of PSU, Thomas Later, says they are yet to receive any correspondence from the board in response to redundancy payments.
I haven't heard anything from them. I have not been sent any formal communication. Now that you are saying that to me, I'm hearing it for the very first time. Today is Wednesday. Up to yesterday, I had a meeting with some of the members who were affected, including the shop stewards, and that was not mentioned. In fact, when I inquired from them whether there was any communication from management, the answer was no. Up to Monday, I had a discussion with the lawyers. We were looking at our chances, our strong points in the case, and without giving too much information at this point, all I can see is that the matter is going to court.
Later says his executive will not rely on PwC's management promise.
This news does not bring any excitement to me because the board is in the habit of promising things. The board is in the habit of saying that we'll meet to discuss. The board is in the habit of telling me, okay, next week we'll meet and so on, and those things never happen. The last time we met before the storm, we had a commitment that would have met, that Monday would have met, and we have written to the board, we have done several things they have written to us. So, I mean, to be honest with you, we do not trust certain things about the board. I mean, it is really sad for you to reach a point where you say you do not trust certain people, but that is the point and that is the truth.
14 PwC employees have applied for redundancy. Idona John Baptist, Channel 5 News.
In more news, Minister for Justice, Immigration and National Security says crime fighting will require more than police training and machinery. The ministry held its end-of-year press briefing on Wednesday against the background of a string of criminal activities recently. Mr. Blackmore says if the most recent crime patterns continue, it will threaten Dominica's peaceful environment.
So people must feel safe at the homes and at public places. The most fundamental responsibility of any government, the state, is the security and safety of its people. Consequently, has to be confronted from all angles, in particular from a law enforcement perspective.
He says the crime patterns cannot be allowed to continue and they must be confronted.
Recognizing that there is a need to ensure that this peaceful environment is maintained, I've been meeting with the police management team to get a sense as to what can be done from a policy standpoint to further strengthen the hands of the police to execute its mandate. We're also going to require officers of high spirit, ensuring that the fundamental ideals upon which this great police force has been established are embraced at all times.
Blackmore says he has received a plan from the police chief for community policing that will be considered. In other news, broadcast media in Dominica could face legal action in 2016 if they fail to secure a license to play music. Here's Andrea Louis with more.
Chairman of the Eastern Caribbean Collective Organization for Music Rights, ECHO, McCarthy Marie, says currently only 2 media houses in Dominica are licensed to broadcast music.
Yes, we have one radio station license in Dominica, and the board has given instructions that we should litigate against the others who don't take a license. After we write them one more letter, we should start litigation against them, as we have started litigation against stations in St. Kitts, one radio station, Kyrie FM, and one cable operation, which is Digicel Play, has a license. We will write one more letter to the stations concerned in January. Right. And if they don't respond positively, we will litigate.
ECHO collects royalties from broadcast media on behalf of its music writers and composers. Upon acquiring a license, radio stations will be expected to pay 2.5% of their revenue towards the organization, while television stations are to pay 1.625%. Marie believes the proper system should be put in place for Dominican songwriters to benefit from the collection of royalties.
Worldwide collected 7.5 something billion euro. Yeah, most of it was 60% of it was collected in Europe. And the 3 countries that make most money as exporting their music is United States, United Kingdom, and Sweden.
On Wednesday, 5 Dominican members of ECHO who were adversely affected by Tropical Storm Erica received cash donations of $1,000 each from the institution.
That $5,000 came from our reserve fund, because our bylaws make provision that say from the amount of money that is to be distributed after expenses for running society have been paid, 5% will be put into a reserve fund. It's a reserve fund without any particular purpose in mind, but generally it's intended to cushion the society against times when revenues might not be what we expect.
Augustine Adrian Banis of Castle Bruce, Pierre Labassiere from Good Hope, James Aaron of Riverbank, Joy Stout of San Sauvé, and Marcel Mark of Grand Bay were recipients of the financial contributions.
Coming up on the Channel 5 News, the DPP speaks on a recent break-in at her office. Welcome back. No progress on investigations into a break-in at the office of the Director of Public Prosecutions 6 days after the incident happened. The DPP's office was vandalized last Thursday night by masked gunmen. Information on the incident has been sketchy. DPP Evelina Baptiste told the media at a news conference on Wednesday that investigations are ongoing.
And it would really be prejudicial at this time to make any comments about the matter or say anything that might foil the ongoing investigations.
Yeah, but documents, I mean, have you been missing? Is there any documents missing from your department? Have they gone away with documents?
I think I need not to say anything about.
You cannot say whether documents are stolen?
I did not say anything about the investigations at this time.
MP for the La Plaine constituency says agro-processing should be seriously considered in agriculture. Here's more.
Peter Seja spoke at a presentation ceremony for the Toloma Women in Action Group on Monday. He says the hard work and tenacity of the Women in Action Group involved in Toloma production is reaping rewards. The La Plaine MP says Dalis was one of the first communities to diversify to other crops when banana production dropped.
A group of women, 28 women, came together and recognizing that they needed to find a way of generating income to sustain their families and communities. They got together and engaged themselves in the production of Toloma. Later on, they also recognized the need that just primary production was not sufficient. And so they got into actually processing the product. And they have distinguished themselves not only locally, nationally, but also regionally, because their product has hit the regional market. And of course, we anticipate within the coming year, the international market.
Seja says Dominicans need to realize the importance of agriculture as a key economic pillar for the country.
That's why I believe that the Dalis Toloma Women in Action has taken this thing one notch further. This group of women has truly taken the issue of sustenance of their families seriously. And I can only wish that you will continue for many more decades so that the DEU, Dalis Toloma Women in Action, will not just be a household name here in Dominica or the region, but that on the global market, we will be able to travel to China and Australia, Austria and Germany and see the product on the shelves out there.
The Toloma Women in Action Group on Monday received over $16,000 worth of equipment and supplies to help them resume farming activities. Andrea Louis, Channel 5 News.
The Grotto Home for the Homeless has received an additional Christmas gift, this time from the Commonwealth of Dominica, Ontario Association. The charitable organization, which has been struggling for over a year to move its residents to a new location at Bellevue, may just be able to do so with ease for the new year. The association, through a radiothon in Canada, raised 10,000 Canadian dollars to donate to 2 charitable organizations in Dominica.
We decided that we were going to donate the money to the Grotto Home and also to Chances. So today I am very pleased to present the Grotto Home with a check for 5,000 Canadian dollars. We are hoping that this money will assist you to continue the work that you're doing for the homeless people in Dominica.
President of the Grotto Home revealed that as soon as the new year begins, they would begin the process to move residents to the new home at Bellevue. That's news. Kenny is off today, but we have your sports highlights next.
Hello everyone, I am Julian Morris and thanks for joining us. First up in sports, the Dominica Football Association has taken a decision to discipline the Colliho footballers who walked off the field of play in a Division 1 match held recently. DFA President Glenn Etienne says the association is in receipt of the report and has turned the matter over to a disciplinary committee for further action.
We have received the referee's report where it stated that 6 minutes before end of play that one player encouraged the rest of his team to walk up. From the DFA standpoint, we have written the team, kind of suspending them until a hearing from the discipline committee, which should take place maybe in the next week or so, and we will know their feet on that. I mean, it's just a matter, well, some guys need to understand the laws of the game, and you can't just walk out from the field when you want to. So that matter has gone through this committee, and we expect it to be a favorable.
Ian says he is confident in the ability of the people on the committee and believe they will do a good job.
We have credible persons in that committee. We have persons like Mr. John Clem John, we have Ronald Williams, we have Mr. Monroe, and we have another gentleman from Newton Cambridge name off and now. So I think these guys are credible persons, and I think they will look at the circumstances that create the team to walk off. I mean, and I think they will come with something that is applicable. That, like you said, punishment is a strong word, but sometimes we have to guide the persons in the right way, so other teams and other clubs does not do the same situation over and over.
Moving on to track and field, President of the Dominica Olympic Committee calls on track and field coaches to take responsibility for their athletes. His comments were made at the end of a certification program for a group of coaches this week.
You will be held responsible for any anti-doping violation and will be sanctioned as a coach. It's usually thought that athletes do it on their own. They don't. They are sometimes coaxed into doing things that are wrong.
Wilson says governing bodies of track and field are taking more stringent measures in reprimanding athletes who are found guilty of doping and those affiliated with them.
Even Brazil and Brazilian athletes are under the watch list. That is how seriously the world is. And it's all done listen well, it's all done to protect clean athletes.
And finally, cricket commentator Joseph Thomas says the state of West Indies cricket is shameful and the athletes and board need to do better. He says in order for things to change, cricketers need to be more dedicated to practicing the sport.
In order for you to get perfect at anything, you have to do it a multiplicity of times. So you do it over and over and over and over again. Back in the 70s and 80s, when West Indies dominated world cricket, it was because our players, after leaving the Caribbean, playing their domestic season, were afforded lucrative contracts in England and played on the English county circuit. Since that is no more, we have seen a decline, and the West Indies board, unfortunately, have not caught on that and have not sought to provide avenues where our cricketers play more cricket.
The cricket commentator says the criteria by which cricketers are drafted for the Windies team are inefficient in producing quality players.
Adam Voges, who played for Australia for the first time here in Rosa Dominica in 2014, played his first test match after probably over 100 plus seasons, first-class seasons, playing for Australia. We have young cricketers who get onto the West Indies team after playing, 10 matches in a domestic competition. How do you compare that? What is the comparison? Do you expect a person who has played 100 or do you expect a person who has played 10 first-class matches to do as well as a person who's played 134 first-class matches? It is not going to happen.
And that's all the time we have for sports. I'm Julian Morris. Join us next time.
Welcome to Flashback, our weekly dive into the archives of events which took place in Dominica in the past. This week in the news, in 1998, the attention turned to the community of Grand Bay when a fire ravaged a member of the community's home.
Other concerned citizens in the community of Grand Bay believe last night's tragedy was an excellent opportunity for the authorities to take a closer look at the fire services being offered to that community.
We have to face reality now, and then when all the money is spent on drug bus, how much money are we going to get to fix the road? The firemen didn't have a proper touchlight, they couldn't come on time, which of course I can't blame them because of the road. So them kind of things we have to take in consideration, man. And don't victimize me for saying that, but we just want to take those things into consideration. consideration.
The one fire truck, it's not enough for Granby?
It's not a matter of not enough, it's an old thing. That there from 10, that's a long time thing. We need modern thing. Look at they have so much modern transport for other communications. We need modern transport, everything modernized. That thing there is too old, the hose leaking, that thing going broke. The man can't drive it fast, the road bad. We need at least 3 trucks down here. That's the largest community, you know. And in spite of telling the people, well, we bad, but we have good, bad and ugly also.
We need more transport, fire transport. For when you see fire, transport that proper, more fire. Because last I seen fire there, and we can out it. Me and Lavido and Philomo, we have to take the wood from the fireman and start to out the fire.
Most probably, if we had bigger plans with more water, maybe something could have been done, or the fire could have been extinguished much earlier. But being that it's only a jeep we have with about 60 gallons of water, but nonetheless, the water in the hydrant was sufficient enough to extinguish the fire.
This is not new, but it is only highlighted after a disaster like that. Because I recall some years ago when it happened, it was very seriously. Even the capacity of the jeep that they have now, a jeep that is tired, it is as some would say, it is fatigued, and it breaks down very often. But even with it, the capacity is so small that a fire of the magnitude of last night, it just could not have handled it. Even though it was there early enough, you know, after 60 gallons gone, that's it. And therefore, I think it is time that, you know, and the authorities, whichever, should really look at a place like Granby. It is a very extensive community. And therefore, I think they should place a suitable fire truck in this community to serve the people. Not after every disaster, for that matter, to come up and for them to say, okay, we will. And therefore, people continue to lose their lives.
We are back in Granby now at the fire station. And it's surprising to see Mr. Little Old Faithful has been upgraded to a 100-gallon truck. Reports are that this is still inefficient, and a 300 to 400-gallon truck would better serve the community. I am Janik Delma Samuel, sharing our final flashback for 2015 with you. Season's greetings from Davis George and myself. Be merry, be happy, until we come back in 2016.
Let's find out from the Met Office if the rain will continue for the rest of the week.
Good evening. Welcome to tonight's weather broadcast. Earlier, infrared satellite imagery showed some high-level clouds and low-level clouds across the central portion of the Lesser Antilles, with Dominica reporting generally cloudy skies today, and radar imagery indicating some shower activity across Dominica, similar to what obtained yesterday. For tonight, the weather is expected to be partly cloudy to cloudy with a few scattered showers and breezy conditions maintained. Similar conditions can be expected into tomorrow. Sea conditions moderate to rough in open water with waves peaking near 10 feet. The small craft warning remains in effect for above normal seas and high winds. For the next 3 days, the trade wind shower pattern continues across the island of Dominica. For the remainder of the Caribbean tomorrow, partly cloudy to cloudy skies with a few scattered showers can be expected across the chain. On the international cities forecast, some rain expected in New York and London, mostly cloudy skies in Miami, and clear skies in Caracas and Beijing. The sun will rise tomorrow at 6:29 a.m. and set at 5:42 p.m. For additional information, feel free to contact us at weather.gov.dm or call the weather hotline at 447-5555. Thank you for viewing and have a good night.
To end the news, the headlines again. The PSU says plans for court action against the public works will go ahead even if the corporation has agreed to honor employees' requests for redundancy. The Minister for National Security holds news conference to address public safety and other concerns, and broadcast media warn they could face penalties in the new year for playing music without a license. Email us at news@mapping2k4.com. You can also access our newscast on our YouTube page. On behalf of the production team, I am Lorraine Graham Carter. Join us tomorrow.